What's up, guys? True Talk BJJ. Bernardo Tavalaro here. Today we're gonna talk about uh, a subject that's affecting a lot of our lives, right? Not even only for jiu-jitsu, but in the everyday life. And we gonna talk about Corona or the COVID-19. That's the name of the virus, right? Um, a few feedbacks. I talked to my sister. Um, my sister is a epidemiologist. If you guys don't know what epidemiology is, it's take care of epidemics. That's what's happening today. So, I asked her some questions because a lot of people, some people, uh, text me and they're like, "Hey, what about this and that?" And she lives in Sweden, actually, right? And Sweden um been one of the countries that did the best, right? And they pretty much have a normal life. They're not doing anything special. They're living their everyday life. And but what she told me, I was like, "So you think that's the right thing to do?" And she was like, "We don't know yet." But she knows that most of the cases, it's old people or people that are sick or have a respiratory problem or anything on the generous, right? And so it's kind of weird because it was a choice by the government and they're doing super well. But at the same time, they're a country, they're Vikings, right? So on the Viking culture, once you get old for your tribe, you need to go on the cliff and jump. So it's not that they really care about their old people, It's like maybe that's why they're doing what they're doing, But they're doing super well. And we're gonna touch some subjects along the way. If you guys want to shut out the people that are on the live, you can give me some questions, and you know, um, it'd be amazing. And Pachi, if you hear, I don't know. She's like, "Yeah, here." Okay. A few of the topics, right? It's like I think the biggest difference that my sister said is how it affects BJJ, right? She was like, "Man, the people are the people on the gym needs to be careful of any of the symptoms, right?" So she's like, don't get like lazy if you have a headache or you had diarrhea or you're feeling sore or anything like that. Like anything could be a little bit of a symptom from the corona. Okay, so that's one of the main things she told me. She was like, "Hey, just make sure people like they know if they're feeling any of the symptoms, take a few days off, see how your body feels, because maybe that's a symptom. If you have excess, go get tested, and we're talking about testing, and she's like, it's kind of hard because even the antibody test, there are a lot of places that you can provide and everything. It's been hard because people are not, they're seeing that a lot of cases are not getting antibody, right? So it doesn't accuse on the test, during the test. But how I see it is this. I think you should go back to normal life, right? For example, for the gym, if you have a gym and you open and your students want to train, man, I don't think that, oh, let's just do the drilling or let's do a little squares and people train over here, people train over there. Man, if you left your house during a pandemic that, and you're going to have a super contact like you do in jiu-jitsu, you don't care. So it doesn't really make a difference if, it's like you don't really care. You're not worried about getting the virus or not, and of course, if you get it and you feel symptoms, you should stay at home and not try to spread. But I don't think you should stop your life. Even more, that's proven that if you have a healthy lifestyle, you have, you take supplement, vitamins and things like that. It's just better for you and for because they say that I think 80% of the people that are hospitalized have a deficiency on vitamin D, right? And you don't see the TV saying that kind of stuff. And I think athletes are not hard to get it, but I think most of the people that are healthy and they have a healthy lifestyle, they don't they don't get symptoms and they're not going to be hospitalized to the point, but we still can get it and we still can spread, that's the thing, and for at least from our team and people that I see on TV, on Instagram TV, on Instagram, it's how people do the different trainings and different how they are managing their gym, right? Most of the people that I seen it is just like, man, if you want to come to train, you train. It's all on risk. They're trying to have like smaller classes and have like to maybe add a few classes and everything. So if I had a gym, that's what I would do. And there's a few gyms they're like separating and everything. For example, on HQ, Leo is doing groups. So the same group that you train, it's the only people that you're going to train the whole entire, until everything go back to normal or not. So it gets easier to manage. If anyone gets a symptom or anyone needs to get tested from that group, they will get that person and they isolate that group, And I think it's I don't know, it's pretty smart, but I don't know, because it's hard to control what people do on their everyday life, so it's like maybe the person's asymptomatic and they're just talking to other people in the group, or they're like, at least they're not rolling together, but maybe they went over for barbecue at the house and things like that. So, but I understand because Lel needs to have a really special care. Like you can't use the dress room anymore. You can't be like holding around on the areas. It's like you're done training, you need to leave. There's no more sitting around talking to people. There's no more chairs, anything like that. And I understand, it's like I think I think it's a good idea. I don't think all the gyms can afford that kind of idea. The thing is that HQ has a really big square footage for their mats. So I think that makes it easy for him to do that kind of thing, And it's I heard there's other gyms that have been training and doing normal classes and everything. I think you getting new students or you're opening your doors and everything, it's kind of hard because you don't know how much, it's like it's kind of weird. I don't think I think it's more of a mental thing, right? Because you don't know what that person does on their everyday life, right? So, but you trust your students. But I think the same chance that you have from your students to contract COVID on the everyday life, it's a stranger, But I think the stranger, maybe you don't trust him because you don't know him yet, So it's kind of like a mental thing, pretty much. But yeah, I don't think it should be normally open, I think it's like I don't have any gyms, but I really appreciate anyone that's listening. If you're not training and you're just listening and you're paying your dues for your gym for whatever team you are, I really appreciate, and I think everybody does, because anyone that lives off jiu-jitsu and make a living off jiu-jitsu appreciate that you keep the gyms open and that kind of stuff. There's already a few gyms that are closed because there's a few places that, man, are, I don't know, I assume they're really, really expensive just for location, right? Location-wise, I think like there's a few gyms that definitely, man, they must be paying like $10,000+ easily. So it must be really hard not having your everyday pay. I was talking to Megaton last Friday, and he was saying like, man, I'm making half of the money that I did on an arm every day, for years. And man, it's hard, it's like, and Arizona's still open because it's the how the license is. Jiu-jitsu gyms they're not in the same license as the like a 24 hours fitness or thing like that, right? So it's a little bit different. So they're still open. You still can do it, and we have Michael Araújo and Karin up there too, and they're running normal classes, and they can do that, And I think they're lucky. And there's other places like Texas, Florida, and man, and I think they're taking the same steps as Sweden now. And back in March when everything started, right? Like I don't pay attention to the news because of my sister, so I went to her and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she told me, "It's like, hey, this is the virus is not that deadly, but super super contagious." So back in the beginning of March, she told me, "It's like everybody's gonna get it. 90% of the population will probably get it. Um, it's gonna extend into 2021. We're not gonna see like, oh, it's okay, the virus gone. It's not like that. It's a virus. We're gonna have it forever." In history of the world, in the study of virus until the like I don't know what year, but my sister said there's only two viruses that the human race was able to be done with, right? Everything else there's either a vaccine or but the virus is still around. So yeah, it was just it's gonna stay there. It's a new thing, and people are panicking and doing all that stuff. But I don't think the government wants to say it, but there's not a lot they can do. And she said that a vaccine to be effective, it takes years and years. She said it's like an average of like it depends a lot of what it's in the vaccine, but it'll take years and years to be effective, and we don't have like side effects and things like that. So she said it will be normal. It's not going to be normal for a long time. It sucks, but I think once, at least America, it's still a little bit different. And in Brazil too, it's a lot of politics involved. So I think that's really delaying everything. Okay, but it is what it is. It's like we have to fight. At least California, man, there's a lot of gyms and people have to go around and see what they can do. But we're seeing some. Man, we're seeing some super fights for a couple of like a month or so. Well, we have Fight to Me in the Third Coast Grappling, and we're gonna see some super fights in Brazil coming up. Going to be some good ones. And I think there were some small tournaments in some other places, but we're going to have IBJJF, right? It's coming up with they already announced 3 tournaments. There's Austin, there's Oklahoma, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and there's Pan Ams, right? First of all, I don't know why they call Pan Ams. That's one of the biggest thing, right? Because I agree there was a lot of people complaining, and Kyan Duarte was like, well, blah, blah, blah. He was complaining, but I think he's just the only reason he's fucking complaining is because he's not in America. If he was in San Diego and we had Pan Ams, I don't think he'll be like, well, poor Brazilians, they can't come compete. He's just complaining because he's stuck in Brazil, and that's it. Because he's probably having some visa problems because he got caught by taking steroids. So he's probably having an athlete visa problems. I don't know. That's because everybody else have athlete visas and they came back. There's a bunch of guys from our teams that have the same visa that he does, and they came back. And I was talking to someone, and he's like, yeah, man, he'll definitely have some problems with his visa because of the USADA, right? So, man, I understand. He's complaining, but I understand, like him and other people are complaining. It's like Pan Am's. And I completely agree. One, Pan Am's is too big for you to make a move from normally being on March to freaking October, because first of all, let's imagine 2021, everything comes back to normal, or like all the states after whatever, a couple of months, and it goes back to normal, and we can have normal IBJJF tournaments. Nobody's scared anymore, and all that. Then what about what's gonna happen in March? We're gonna have another Pan Am. I can understand, but it's like they should have done, call it American Nationals, you know. But I think they did Pan Am's just because IBJJF just wanted the big name, right? Like they wanted to do a big tournament and bring a lot of people. And well, Pan Am's been to Florida for a couple of years. You know, it was in Hawaii the first one, I think. Then it went to Florida. Then it moved to California. So I still think they should call it. They should have done the American Nationals and do gi and no gi. They'll still have a bunch of people. I think whoever's going to compete at Pan Am's, if it was called American Nationals, I think people will still go over there and still do it. But I don't know. You know, I'm just happy, and I think people outside, I understand they're not competing and they're complaining, but they should be happy that IBJJF is being able to, as a federation, go back to putting up a tournament, right? So stop bitching, you know, stop fucking complaining. It is what it is. Even more Kainan that fucking got lucky enough that he's the lucky ass motherfucker because he already got only 1 year as fucking punished at Usada. And the year the motherfucker got fucking punished, it's the year of Corona. That there's no freaking worlds, you know? So it's like, well, he didn't lose anything. So it's fucking, he's lucky. Let's put it that way, right? I don't know how the tournament's going to be, you know? I think there's a lot of people signing up. I hope, I'm going to be there. I hope a lot of people come, you know, man, because I think it's not even a competition, but I think the competition, people that miss it as a professional fighters and everything, they miss it for any business that it's done in jiu-jitsu, miss it, you know. Sponsors, talking about that, Shoyoro, shout out to Bear, AJ, Marcus, everybody, Tash over there at Shoyoro. Thank you for hooking up with everything, you know, appreciate you guys. And I think they miss it. You know, it's a big part of their business too. It's having athletes competing. It's having things like that. For example, my co-host, Nick, that whenever he can, you know, it's like the guy that I did the most. He owns BJJ tees, and man, he goes to the tournaments and he creates the boots and everything. And that's probably making a big difference on his life right now. You know, he still can make t-shirts and everything, but still it's like he's depending on the selling of the online thing, but he makes a good amount of money when he goes to tournaments and do that kind of stuff, you know. And man, and I think the everyday thing, it's not even a competition, but how I see it's this, right? The thing that I'm missing the most, and now I think why it's so important and so necessary to have something like jiu-jitsu right now, right? It's this. It's, man, for a lot of people, for us that compete and we don't think about it, it's, man, for an everyday human being, if it's, you know, and imagine someone that's like, get off of work and they will go to jiu-jitsu, and that's a huge stress relief, you know. It's from their everyday, from you know, like from the work and everything. It's a place because it's such a mental sport, and it's so high dependent on like how much you have to think, and you only have to think about it at the time super fast. You can't do anything about it. You only have to focus on what's happening. You don't have time to think of anything else that's happening in your life. So in the situation that we are now, so much shit's happening out there. You not having, or someone that's stressed and they're not having jiu-jitsu as a stress relief, that it is important, man, it must be fucking going crazy, you know? Because I can only imagine someone that's like, they lost their job, they go to their house, and it's either like their husband or their wife, it's like kids are going crazy because they can't go to school, because they can't see their friends, they can't train, they can't burn the little energy, so the person is stressed out. Then imagine if they lost their job and everything is going crazy, you know. And it's like the thing that's like make you relax for like an hour, 2 hours that you have, that you burn your energy, that your mind is off of it, and you don't have to think about anything that's happening in your life, and you don't have it. That's, man, it's like that must be really hard. I think a lot of athletes don't see it, and they see like, man, I need to compete, and I miss jiu-jitsu for the physical part and everything. Yeah, man, but so it's like, I man, I hope everything goes back to normal, and as fast as you can. At least it's just like, take the measurements that you can for like not spreading the disease, taking care of, obeying. Don't be a little rebel like, I'm not gonna wear a mask, blah blah blah. It's like, man, just have respect for the laws a little bit. It's not gonna kill you because maybe you're asymptomatic and you don't know, and you spreading disease for older people or someone to take care of an older person or live with some older person. It's just like, it's not gonna kill you. Fight tweeting been happening. I heard there's a few people that got sick, referees in Texas and everything, but you don't know. You don't know where. If it was the traveling, what was it? It's like you can't exactly know where you got it from, because it happens. Unless someone called you and be like, hey, me and you, we rolled, I think you have it. It's like, got tested and everything. But besides that, you don't know. You can't know what's happening, And I think those tournaments, they can't have a structure like UFC and Bellator and all those tournaments that they can test a person 5 times, during the whole week. Everybody stay isolated and everything. So they can't even do the test. They do a simple little test, and man, it's pretty much wishing the luck, But I kind of appreciate it, because at least it's like, for them it's the business. But I think for a lot of people, at least just watching and having the hope of a fight and everything, and for the athletes being able to compete, I think it's really nice, And I think IBJJF is big too, and then we wish you all be happy about it. And we really, really hope nothing changes into October, and we will have the tournament, and it's going to be amazing, because I think everybody needs it. Not only on the part of business wise, but it's like having a little bit of our life is getting back to normal kind of situation, Because how I see it now, man, politics, it's fucking everything up. So it's like every other country that took way less lockdowns and stuff like that, like I was saying, Sweden and even Europe, everybody's having a normal life now, going back to normal. And again, there's nothing you can do. The virus is not going to go away. The lockdown's not going to end the virus. The lockdown, my sister explained to me, it was done on the beginning so you don't have a high number. And you don't have, if people get hospitalized, you don't have enough ventilators and stuff like that to treat those persons, right? And this is not the case in California. I was looking at the numbers the last time I saw it. They had like 2,000 people on respirators, and they still have like 10,000 extra, So it's like, I think it's just politics pretty much. And it's really sad because, for example, right, it's like, I always try to, sometimes I talk shit about this guy, but man, I feel really sorry about it, because like Coyote had to close his gym today, and he announced it on his Instagram, and he was like, man, the health department came by and be like, hey, you need to close your gym. This is your last warning. Next time is going to be $5,000 a class per day that you open your gym again. So he's probably already late on the rent, because for a couple of weeks or a couple of months he couldn't open the gym. There's probably, it seems like a big gym, so, and it's up north, so it's definitely not cheap. So yeah, man, it's sad, because you see someone or a big school like Coyote Association having to close their gym. At least they don't know if it's going to be forever or not. But still, man, it's like, it's pretty sad, like, seeing things like that happening. I can only imagine if for them they probably have the support, and that's the reason why they closed, and the health department came by. But imagine how many other gyms everywhere they're closing because you don't have that many students, and the students they're supporting are not enough to pay rent maybe. And shit, man, you can't, you know you can't pay the rent anymore. You have to close it, or you couldn't get an agreement with your landlord. And I hope a lot of the landlords understand, but it's not easy. I think the jiu-jitsu community is really tight, so people will be helping out on their gym and that kind of stuff, but yeah, it been it been rough for, I think, for everybody. Like, we're fortunately, a few people are fortunate because they can train still. And man, it's awesome. It's like it's great at least to be able to go to the gym and just have that on your schedule, and at least that part of your day is normal. And it's amazing. And now we're gonna have that competition. um I think the first one is Austin. uh we see how it goes. I think everything is gonna be good. Texas been having a lot of competitions anyways, at least like super fights. And I think some of the fight to win or the third calls already, there's some people watching them a little bit, not like crazy public or anything like that. But it probably gonna be good, you know. And um, what else? Uh, yeah, what more than I was talking to my sister, right? It's like just for the education of the virus for you guys. Um, like she said that, like, she does study on this part, right? Then she got called to work on the hospital when it got really bad. And she said it's like, yeah, man, it's like everybody that's from the area of epidemic was already waiting for a big epidemic, and they were like, yeah, it wasn't a surprise, because she said that the lifestyle that we are, the cities and everything, and the modification, and the way you deal with the animals and everything, and how our lifestyle, the world did it was just a matter of time. But the sad news is, she said, this one is probably not even the big one. She said that's like we be seeing more epidemics in the span of like 30, 50 years or something like that we've seen ever together. She said, like, before it was like one big bad epidemic like every like 100 years or so, and now we be seeing like four different kinds. And she said the one that's really gonna come, it's gonna be big. She said this is like a kid one. It was just a show of what can happen to us, right? And so I think that's the scary part. But like she said, it's like, well, we never know. We don't know when it's gonna happen. So we don't know. Maybe if it happens, we already have a cure for it. It's not gonna be as bad. But she said, at least as contagious as it is, the virus is pretty bad. That's the bad part about the COVID-19. But it's not as deadly as people think. And that's the good part. It's just really, really trans easy to transmit to somebody else, right? By air or stuff like that. And uh, there's okay. Let me read a couple of the questions that people sent me over here. Um, where is it? Okay. Yeah. Someone asked me if it's like, it was more like a thing. It's like, man, you think people should be training or not? And like I said, it's like, yeah, man. It's like what are you gonna do? It's like you can't not train, man. If you're not comfortable, I understand, and I think the gyms should just be like, yeah, man. If you're not comfortable, don't come. If you want to do only private, do a private. If you want to have a suggestion for your coach or anything like that, like hit him up and see it, and just be like, hey, what's up? It's like, can we do like a small class? Can I have a small group of people that I trust, or like we did this testing or things like that, and we all gonna be together. But man, if you're not getting tested every day or at least like every week, it is really hard because it takes like 5 days to the virus starts showing, or a week, or 15 days or whatever. So it's like you never know what's gonna happen. I think the most thing it's just keep yourself sane. That's like I said, it's like such a big stress relief that people need it right now. It's like, man, you can't rely on guessing if you're sick or not, but at the same time, you can't freaking not move and get out of your house. It was proved already that staying outside is actually the UV light is good for it's good against the virus. So it's like if you stay inside, man, it's even worse. Um, I really wonder how the competition is gonna run, and because I don't know if it's going to be spectators or people watching or anything like that, but you still, man, it's like at least you still need coaches, right? Because all the other sports, like even the NBA that's in Florida, they're not having people watching it, right? So I don't know how many matches they're going to run. I know there's probably they open to white belt and everything. Maybe in Florida they can have people, but their NBA is just not doing it just because the NBA is too big, right? But if you think about it, we need one person at least on the table, one referee, two fighters, and two coaches. So that's like 7 people at least per area, right? So yeah, man, if you have 10 areas or 6 areas, that's already a big number. But again, if you're in a tournament, I don't think it's not that you don't care. I don't think you're stopping your life by being scared of if you're going to or not going to get the virus. And I think I understand, I think like that. I'm not going to stop my life being scared or not of getting it. But I already think I got it. I don't know. But that's probably what 90% of people out there think they got it at some point. They wake up coughing or something like that. One day they felt bad and they're like, oh my God, I think I got it. But I don't know, I probably did. 2, I don't think if I get it, I don't think I'm going to be really, really sick. I'm more worried about if I have something giving to someone, the virus, spreading the virus, than worrying about me catching the virus. I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's like I don't really worry about like catching it or how I'm gonna feel. I think I'm gonna be fine. But I'm scared of spreading to other people, like giving to somebody else, because man, I don't want anyone to get sick because of me. But if I get it, I get it because I'm putting myself out there, but I'm more scared of giving to someone, I'll be at the tournament. I don't care, if they tell me to wear a mask. It's gonna be weird for you to coach to wear a mask because I'll be there coaching. But we'll see. Like a super fight at smaller venue, it's easier, I think, to control how the crowd is and what's happening, how many fighters and things like that. But I don't know. I think again, man, I think this is super necessary for everybody. You know, I'm glad IBJJF is doing it. I think they probably need it too. It's like, man, they used to do like so many opens a freaking week. Pretty much every weekend there was like 2, sometimes 3 opens at the same time. So I think they're definitely freaking needing it, because they need it's not that they need the money, but they need that flow of money that they have it. It's like, it's kind of weird because like for months and months and months, at least California, they don't know what's gonna happen. We're hoping that they're probably trying to do Pan Ams to see how big they can go. And I think they maybe, if Pan Ams go really well and nothing happens and things start getting better, they'll definitely run Worlds, for Nogi, Worlds Nogi, because it's December anyway, so they still have another like month or two to run Worlds Nogi. And that, man, but still, the Worlds, it's gonna be weird. But like, how can you run Worlds if nobody else can go into America? So I don't think they should do it, unfortunately. The same way I think they should have done American Nationals instead of Pan Ams. Everybody that's traveling anyways, I'll think they will do it anyways, because it's a big IBJJF tournament anyways. It happens in August, so like a month to difference, it's not gonna make a difference. Yeah, so it's like, really don't know what, and man, I hope we can all, from jiu-jitsu, we can all freaking recuperate, or at least don't see that many gyms closing, and there's actually, like, I don't know, there's people not taking advantage, but they're getting the moment going of how low the rent and things like that, and Pachi Fontes is open. It's gonna. I know she rented a place already for her gym. It's gonna be close to the OC airport, the Joanne airport, and because of that, because she talked to the person. The person's like, man, the person knows that they can't rent that place to something else, so the contract starts on a price super low. So even if she can't do a opening, because probably like, it's against the law right now, or how it fits into the license situation, but at least she's getting a good deal, and that's something important. I think at least that's something good, that's like, she's doing that. And it's kind of funny too. It's like, I just remember my friend Pancho, that's from has a gym in Murrieta. Him and Elinho has a one in Temecula, and how that region is a little bit different, right? It's like more people training, less people freaking worry about it, and they all want to train, and he was worried at the beginning. It's like, hey, should I open or not? And we're like, hey, and he opened, and everybody was like, yeah, man, open. And like kids class and everything, and man, that's great, and because and that's how I think everybody should do it, but it's like a few other places up north, I know it's way worse, like the Cayo Teja situation happened. I know San Diego, the guy from 10th Planet, what's his name? The Two Brothers gym over there. They got visit twice, like right on the beginning. I know they got called out for something. He said that it was only him and his girlfriend that were coming out of the gym for drilling. And I think that's kind of hard, because if there's only you and someone else, and you're just like inside the gym and you're coming out and somebody's like, hey, you're training, I don't think that really happened, And on the beginning, I understand on that phase, like the first month of lockdown and things like that, people are like, fuck, man, we don't know, the disease is going to spread. So it's like, man, we can't have anything. People will be calling and be like, reporting you and stuff like that. But what I think it changed right now is people are more worried about how people's business are, job, and all that stuff than like, like to the point they're gonna call someone and be like, that business is open, it's gonna it's kind of good to see how things are changing. At least on that point, I don't think nobody's gonna call anyone. I don't think the cops, if the cops drive by, they're not gonna stop and be like, "What are you guys doing?" At least not anymore. I think the first few weeks of when the pandemic started and the lockdown was happening, it's one thing because everybody was so worried about it because they didn't know how to deal with the virus. But I think people are seeing that it's not that the virus is not that bad, and it's not like it's not that deadly, but still you're worried about it, you know. And someone asked me another question. It's like if I know someone that got the virus really bad. We had this one friend that got it, that trains jiu-jitsu, but has asthma for his whole entire life. He was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. One of my friends, his mom got it twice. His dad got it, and it's kind of weird because they're like, his dad's obese, kind of overweight. Nothing happened to his dad. His dad was like, yeah, whatever, was at the hospital, but never happened, like, not to the point of like being worried. His mom is kind of like overweight a little bit, and she got it twice, and she has asthma, and she was fine. Like he would FaceTime her, like once he was at my house and they FaceTime, she was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And that thing was fine. So it's kind of weird, man. And on the other hand, unfortunately, we had Arnaldo's Maidana uncle, man. He got it, and in I think like 4 or 5 days, he died. He passed away, and it's like that's what it bothers me. It's the only thing that's weird is this, right? That's one of the things that I asked my sister. I was like, so what's up? It's like, and she's like, man, it just depends on how she said. I even took a note, like what she said. Yes. Okay. So it's the virus load that you get, right? So for example, if you get on a contact of like someone coughed and it was in the air or something like that, and you just walked by and you got it a little bit, right? And if you didn't have your mask and you got a little bit, the load of amount of virus and how everything that you got, it's one thing. Plus how your immune system is and how your body reacts to the virus, right? That's another thing. I think what happened is this, like, people that isolate themselves or like they're taking a little bit of being care with stuff, when they get it, they don't get it so bad, so it's almost like they get a little bit of like not a weaker virus, but like the amount of virus that they get, it's like it's a small amount, and their immune system is kind of good, so that it fights it off, right? So it doesn't show, you don't have that many symptoms and things like that. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you get it and your immune system's compromised and you freaking get it worse, so that's the it's so unconstant, it's like the virus have ups and downs depending on people, like the case that we told them. It's like, but one thing that they said again, man, load up on vitamin C, vitamin D. If you're Latino, or Latino, blacks, Mexicans, everybody, we have our body, because we have more melatonin, whatever, the thing that gives a little bit of a darker color on us. We are less, I think our D3 or like something like that on our body is lower than white people, the super white people, right? And but even then, man, it's Corona time. Like it's COVID time, and so it's like, if you can, vitamin C, vitamin D, twice a day, load it up. If your immune system is good, the chances of you, even if you're getting it, the chance of you having it bad, it helps a lot. So, and just go to Walmart, CVS, whatever place you want to go. It's like you're not gonna die if you had a little bit of a vitamin C and D on your body. Multivitamin too, zinc. They say that's good too against uh against the virus, right? It's like for your immune system, not even for the virus, but for your immune system. It's good to have your immune system good, working really well. And that's why I think people should freaking train. It's like it's not only to support the gym, but mentally too, man. If you're fucking stressed, there's so many cases of people telling you see online and people killing themselves and going crazy because they lost their job and things like that. So it's kind of, yeah, see, exactly. Someone wrote it over here. Your ability to produce D3 from sunlight, so from sun exposure, is lower in those who have higher melanin. That's pretty much what I said, but not in a professional way. So that's why you can see the number of really bad cases on Mexicans and black people are higher than the white people, like proportionate to like number of cases, because of that. But again, another reason to take your D3 and the vitamin C, zinc, multivitamin, whatever. Man, if you can support your gym, do it. We all appreciate it. Not because it's like people are gonna make money and stuff like that. If you can, man, trust me, your teacher will understand. It's like nobody's gonna be mad because we understand. It's like, man, your family and what you're going through on your everyday, it's your business. It's like you can't give priority to supporting your jiu-jitsu gym than putting food to your kids and on the table. So it's like everybody will understand. What you can do for your gym, where you can, and the people that can help, that they're not having a hard problems, or their work is they're still working, the business is doing okay, and the work they're getting paid and everything like that. Man, I think everybody appreciate it. Even if you can't go and you still can pay your fees to the gym, trust me, man, everybody will still appreciate it, because you never know. It's like you can have half of the students, and you can see sometimes on the Instagram people training and things like that, but maybe that's exactly the amount of people, like half of the gym, it's exactly the amount of people that people pay for the rent and the bills and things like that. So the gym's still open. There's still some students out there, but then the amount of people that are paying tuition, it pays the rent, it pays the bill, but still it's like the person can still they can't generate money for like food, or I'm not hoping that's not the case, man, and but maybe it is. You never know. It's like smaller gyms, and maybe landlords are helping out with rent and things like that, but maybe they're not. So if you can, everybody appreciate it, and whatever you can do it. If you're scared, everybody understands. If you train, go ahead. If you have a different view than your teacher or what's doing in the gym, I just ask men, like, just respect it like everybody else. Just like respect the limit of other people. If you want respect, you need to. The main thing is respect other people's opinions and what they do and how they act. Only because you think you have a conspiracy theory in your head, and you think it's a fake virus. Don't judge everybody that thinks it happens. Because it's not fake. Yeah, man, and we will see what happens. There's a couple of fights this weekend. But that ain't happening. Fight to win be happening with success. People be super happy to go, and it's amazing because at least the fighters, most of the fighters that are going, and a few of the fighters that are going, at least they're getting paid and stuff like that. They're staying active, and I think the athletes kind of need that, But at the same time, I think it's like the time that's off. maybe it's good for their body. It's like you don't compete so much, you don't train so hard, your body recovers. So I think once we go back to competition, go back to normal, I think will be really good because people had the more time to study and drill and do like small training, so they recover and do everything with their body. Um, what was I gonna say? IBJJF, we'll see what happens to Pan Am's. You know, um, we'll see, man. And hopefully we can start seeing maybe another country or like Europe in a few months. Brazil. What's up, Nunes? Um, and hopefully we slowly we go back to normal, man. And we have our competition. It's kind of weird because we jiu-jitsu world see the competition as being like a normal thing, and it kind of is, right, for us, because it's like it's where you like sometimes you travel or people from another state come and we have like camps and competitions and you run into your friends and people that from another team, and I think we miss that, and man, everybody misses it. Even I don't compete anymore, and I kind of miss it, like being here and being like, hey, what's up, and you go to tournaments and you run into people and you talk to everybody. I think that's an interaction that we have, the committee of jiu-jitsu have it, and we need the tournaments from that. And once again, I understand the people in Brazil being mad and other countries being mad because they can't come and compete in Pan Ams, but come on, be happy that IBJJF is able to putting up a tournament, and slowly, like I said, slowly we're getting our life together again. Small things are happening, and this not being able to come to a tournament and things like that, like anything else, it'll go away. We'll be able to come in and come out of the countries. So don't be hating. Be happy. See the good on what's happening. See the good thing that's like, man, wow, competitions are back. Yeah. So someone asked me, not related to Corona, but do you think they will announce heel hooks soon before Pan Am's competition? I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe because they can't do. Maybe if they do Pan Am's no-gi, they'll announce it, or maybe they're waiting for make sure they have a big no-gi competition and announce that IBJJF is gonna have heel hooks. I think for black belts and maybe brown belts. I'm not sure. I know black belt for sure, and yeah. Maybe we have Pan Am's no-gi, That would be pretty fun. I think the more competitions we have, the better for us as a community, because we need slowly to go back to our life to normal. I know it being hard, and some gyms are getting not easy for them. I don't know how the situation is in Brazil. I know that like they can't train and things like that. People are doing like secret training, and I mean it sucks, because a lot of people need it, and not only financially, but like I said, like mentally, it's really important for everybody. For us, anyone that does jiu-jitsu, we miss it so much, but. Let's be happy though that we're seeing some competitions. There's 3 competitions now scheduled for IBJJF, and let's really hope that I'm pretty sure everything is going to be great and smooth, and nothing will change from now on. Everything is just going to get better, and people are going to be less of a problem. We're not going to have like lockdowns and stuff like that. But in America, it's a little bit different. Each state have a different set of rules and things like that. They do whatever they want. That's why it's being in Florida, not in California. California, you still can do it in Texas, and I think Oklahoma we have it too. So, guys, today's is a short little podcast. I don't have a co-host. Again, um, and the episode is just about Corona. It's something more recent, and I had to talk about it. And then IBJJF announcing Pan Am's. Talking about it. Man, thank you everybody for listening. If we're gonna put a video on YouTube, please subscribe if you can. Help us out, share, do whatever. Next week we're gonna have episode. I'm gonna be in Temecula and Murrieta, so I'll be over there, recording an episode. And the week after that, I'm gonna talk to Leo, but I want to have Leo again in the show, and we're gonna talk about the media, right? How the media is nowadays, on the show, right? On how much the media controls jiu-jitsu nowadays. I had a few days ago. I had a couple of a talk with Moja Singh. That's the guy that organizes ADCC and did the last one, and that's why that was the show that it was, man. Freaking such a nice guy. And we're talking about it. So I was like, man, maybe we need to talk about it. And Leo always be like, hey, we need to talk about the media. And I think Leo's a really good person to talk about it because first competitions he did, it was out in the open. The first closed place that he ever did was inside his stable. There was no media, no magazine, nothing. And he's seeing nowadays how the media is and how much it controls and how much it does everything, right? So that'll be coming next weekend. It's gonna be, I'm gonna talk to Elinho, and because we're gonna talk about how it's the transition that he did from jiu-jitsu being a passion and something that he did for sport and a passion, an everyday thing. Then he left his job as a lawyer to be a professional and teach and be a teacher in jiu-jitsu, And I think in America that happens a lot. And we're going to talk about that transition and how that happens, from being a passion to be a profession of jiu-jitsu, Once again, guys, thank you very much. Thank you, BJJ Tees, Shoyoro, Red Boeing. If you guys need CBD products, go check our True Talk BJJ Instagram. We have a code for free shipping. Thank everybody that supports and watching the live, the Instagram, YouTube, everything. Thank you guys. Hopefully we grow slowly and we have a voice in the jiu-jitsu world. I can talk some more shit and more people will listen. And we have some other people that come over here so I can talk shit and they can try to defend themselves. Maybe one day I'll be sitting over here with Keenan, and we talk about it. Who knows? Never know. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll see you guys next week.